Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. Indiana U.S. Senator Mike Braun is visiting every county in the state of Indiana this week. On his tour, he stopped here at WLFI. I sat down with him one-on-one, and he shared his thoughts on what issues are affecting Hoosiers the most, as well as President Joe Biden's proposed infrastructure plan. U.S. Senator Mike Braun has visited over a dozen counties in the state of Indiana so far. He says there are three issues that are concerning Hoosiers the most: rural broadband, affordable housing, and the workforce.
And I travel the state, listen to small, medium, and large business owners would be competing with the federal government and an enhanced unemployment benefit when we're having trouble getting people back to work.
Braun feels the American Rescue Plan went too far. He says the extension of an additional $300 in unemployment extended till September has disincentivized people from going back to work, which is why he voted against it.
I was all for $1,400 checks to people that were still without a job and that were still hurting, and in the areas disproportionately hurt, like restaurants.
Recently, President Joe Biden proposed a $2.2 trillion infrastructure plan. Braun says for a bill to pass with bipartisan support, it needs to focus on traditional infrastructure, like roads and bridges.
When you know valid long-term investments like water and sewage treatment plants, rural broadband, even stretch to elderly housing, that's taking it beyond what we normally talk about in infrastructure. Not saying there aren't needs there.
To pay for this plan, President Biden has said he will set the corporate tax rate at 28% and discourage offshore banking. However, Braun feels raising taxes on large corporations may not work.
Most people don't know when we had a 35% corporate tax rate, there were so many loopholes that the big companies with their staffs of lawyers and lobbyists were paying closer to 20%.
Braun says he'd be willing to work across the aisle to get rid of those loopholes.
I would be, to me, because as a Main Street entrepreneur and business owner, I can't think of any loopholes that benefit small businesses.
Regardless of getting rid of loopholes, Braun doesn't feel increasing the corporate tax rate is the best way to pay for an infrastructure plan.
User fees, and nobody wants to discuss that because it's a political hot potato whenever you're talking at the federal level, how you pay for things when we've gotten so used to borrowing the money.
Senator Mike Braun also discussed the state of Indiana's economy. He feels Indiana is doing better than most states because the pandemic was handled moderately.